Okay, question 9. So, given that y equals root x plus 4 over root x plus 4, when x has got to be greater than 0, if you think about your linear domain, y, it doesn't really ask it on this question, but why does x have to be greater than 0? Well, because that's going to give you 0 in the bottom of the fraction there, isn't it? So you should know that anyway, that's why that's happening. Find the value of dy by dx when x equals 8, giving your answer in the form a root 2, where a is a rational number. So, dy by dx from y. Well, the first thing that we've got to deal with here are the roots, aren't we? We can't differentiate a root, we need to have an indice. So let's change the roots. So remember, the square root just means that's going to be x to the power of a half plus 4. Now that would be over x to the half, and if it's over, it means that x to the half becomes x to the minus a half. So it's 4x to the minus a half plus 4. And we want dy by dx, so we're going to differentiate it all. Times by the power, decrease the power by 1, so times by the power puts a half in front of the x. Decrease the power by 1 turns that into minus a half. Times this by the power, so 4 times minus a half becomes minus 2. Decrease the power by 1, this then becomes minus 3 over 2 minus 1.5, remember there. Okay, do that on the calculator if you need to. Put in minus a half and take away 1. Minus 3 over 2, okay, and the 4 will disappear. So that means that is a half times 1 over root x minus 2 times, remember this means x to the power 3 over 2. But it'll be, sorry, that means 1 over x to the 3 over 2. Which means root x squared, so that'll be 1 over root x all cubed. Okay, that's what that means. And now all we're going to do is put x equals 8 into this. By the way, you didn't have to write this out like that, because all we're going to do here is sub x equals 8 into this. So my calculator will work that out for me. But it's just just to kind of remind you what the negative indices mean and how they link to roots and stuff like that. So let's use this and let's just put x equals 8. So we're going to get a half times 8 to the power minus a half minus 2 brackets 8 to the power minus 3 over 2, and then just put that into your calculator. So we've got half times 8 to the power of minus a half minus 2 brackets 8 to the power minus 3 over 2. Oh, this is one of those ones that will do that. Yeah, right, okay. So, the problem that we've got here then is that this is going to give you it, they've chosen specific numbers here that are going to give you it like that. Now that is probably the correct answer. Yeah, that's the correct answer. However, it wants it in the form a root 2, where a is a rational number, so we will need to do this. Okay, so what that means is that ends up giving me 0.088. It's not in the format of a root 2, which means that I need to go back and put x equals 8 into this thing. So, timesing that out, that's going to give me 1 over 2 root x, which is going to be root 8, minus 2 over root 8 cubed. And then we're going to need to simplify that. Okay, so, let's deal with this first. Root 8 cubed, if you think about it, root 8 times root 8 times root 8, well that is going to give me 8, isn't it? So that's going to be 8 root 8. So this becomes 1 over 2 root 8 minus 2 over 8 root 8, which will then simplify. 1 over 2 root 8 minus 1 over 4 root 8. Okay, cancelling the integers and fractions. Now remember that root 8 equals root 4 root 2, which equals 2 root 2. And that's important because remember that it did ask for this in the form a root 2. So let's turn it into those. 1 over 2 times 2 root 2 minus 1 over 4. 4 times 2 root 2, which should be at the bottom there, let's put a bracket around. And then simplify that out. So 1 over 4 root 2 minus 1 over 8 root 2. Now, if you think about that, if I want to turn this thing into 8 root 2s so I can group these things together, what I could do there is I could put, I could change that into 2 over 8. So if I times that by 2 and times that by 2, it will give me 2 over 8 root 2 minus 2 over 8 root 2. And then what's going to happen there? Why would I do this? Sorry, let's put a 1 there, shouldn't it? So we've got 2 over 8 root 8 minus 1 over 8 root 8, which is going to give me 1 over 8 root 8. 1 over 8 root 2, sorry, which means that in terms of what I've got there, if I want to write that as a root 2, I need to rationalise it, so I need to times it by root 2 over root 2, which will give me root 2 over 8 times root 2 times root 2, which is 8 times 2, which is 16. So it means that that a that you're after is a 16 root 2. So that's the final answer there.